Most people think carbs are the enemy, especially after 60. You've heard it 100 times. Cut carbs, avoid them at night. They'll spike your blood sugar. They'll ruin your health. But here's a question no one ever asks. What if certain carbs could actually help you sleep better, reduce stress, and even protect your memory as you age? What if what you eat in the final hours of your day could be the difference between tossing and turning all night, but waking up feeling clear, calm, and sharp? This isn't just theory, it's real science. And it's also rooted in something older than any research paper. Elderly wisdom, the kind of knowledge passed down not just in studies, but in quiet routines, small habits, and the reflection of those who've lived long enough to see what truly works. Let me introduce you to someone who reminded me of that. His name is Peter. He's 74, retired engineer, living just outside Toronto. His whole life, Peter lived by logic, calculations, blueprints, precision. He wasn't the type to believe in gut feeling or trendy diets. But about a year ago, he started noticing something strange. He was going to bed on time, even sleeping 7 to 8 hours, but waking up exhausted. His memory, once razor sharp, started slipping. He forgot names, appointments, where he put things. His hands felt weak in the mornings. He chalked it up to aging, until one night, lying awake again at 2 a.m., he had a thought. What if it's not age? What if it's fuel? That night, instead of cutting carbs, he tried adding a warm, simple, nourishing food. And what happened next surprised even him. Let's talk about the first carb that changed everything for Peter. Sweet potatoes. Now I know what you might be thinking. Aren't those just sugar in disguise? Actually, no. Sweet potatoes are what we call slow Rapunzel carbohydrates. That means they digest gradually, providing your body with a stable stream of energy throughout the night, without the spikes and crashes that come from refined grains or sugar. But the benefits go far beyond blood sugar. Sweet potatoes are rich in magnesium, potassium, and complex starches, nutrients your nervous system uses to relax. Magnesium in particular is crucial for reducing cortisol at night, the stress hormone that keeps you awake and alert when your body should be winding down. That's why Peter started eating half a baked sweet potato an hour or two before bed. Not as a big meal, just a simple, quiet moment, sometimes with a drizzle of olive oil, sometimes with a sprinkle of cinnamon. He told me it was like flipping a switch in my head. I didn't just fall asleep faster, I stayed asleep. I remembered my dreams. I woke up and didn't need 2 cups of coffee to feel human. That's not just his imagination. A study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that adults who consumed complex carbs like sweet potatoes before bed fell asleep faster and had deeper sleep cycles. But Peter didn't stop there. He started experimenting with another carb, one most people overlook at night. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about instant oatmeal from a packet full of sugar. I'm talking about old-fashioned rolled oats or steel-cut oats, whole grain, slow-cooked, and paired with ingredients that soothe the mind. Oats are rich in B vitamins, fiber, and this is key, melatonin and tryptophan precursors. What that means is, when you eat oats at night, your body uses them to produce serotonin, the calming chemical that helps regulate sleep, mood, and memory. There's a woman named Florence. She's 79, a retired librarian in Wisconsin. Every night she makes what she calls her memory porridge. Just a few spoonfuls of oats with almond milk, a touch of honey, maybe some pumpkin seeds on top. She says, when I eat this, I feel like my mind settles, like the clutter in my brain gets quieter. And guess what? Florence isn't wrong. Multiple studies show that seniors who include oats in their nighttime routine have improved sleep architecture, meaning more time in deep, restorative phases of sleep. The kind where your brain processes memories and your heart rate slows to its healing rhythm. The gut-brain connection here is powerful too. Oats are a prebiotic food, which means they feed the good bacteria in your gut. Why does that matter? Because your gut is where a large part of your serotonin is produced. So when your gut is happy and healthy, your brain feels calmer, more focused, less foggy. That's part of what we call life lessons from the elderly. Knowing that the quietest foods can have the loudest effects. Florence told me something that stuck with me. She said, you don't need fireworks at night, you need comfort. Gentle things, oats are gentle. Now you might be wondering, all right, sweet potatoes, oats, but is this really enough to protect my memory? And to that I say, let me share one more piece of Peter's story. A few months after changing his bedtime habits, he went in for a routine cognitive test. He scored higher than the year before. His doctor was stunned. His cholesterol had dropped, his blood pressure stabilized, and Peter, without medications, felt like himself again. And it wasn't from supplements or pills. It was from slow, deliberate nutrition, grounded in science and supported by decades of senior health research. But more than that, it was from listening to his body, from trusting his own elderly reflections. Now, if all of this sounds simple, it's because it is. You don't need to overhaul your whole diet overnight. You just need to ask yourself one thing. What am I feeding my body in the final hours of the day? Because that's when your body repairs. That's when your brain files memories. That's when your heart needs calm the most. And if you're over 65, those aren't just quiet, they're sacred. They're your best chance at restoration. So tonight, instead of crackers or ice cream or nothing at all, try what Peter and Florence did. Half a sweet potato, a small bowl of oats, sit in a quiet room, maybe light a candle. And now here's the exciting part. In the next section, we'll uncover 2 more surprising foods that help regulate your circadian rhythm, reduce inflammation, and enhance cognitive clarity overnight. One of which is something you probably walk past every time at the grocery store, not realizing its powerful benefits. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this. But before we move on, can I ask you something? Where are you watching from today? The US? The UK? Maybe somewhere quiet and beautiful in Europe? Let me know in the comments. And while you're here, if you've found value in this story, in these motivations, in these real-life lessons from seniors who've figured out what truly matters, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell. Because here at Elderly Reflections, we don't just believe in information, we believe in inspiration. In quotes and wisdom that stick with you, in the kind of stories that don't just teach you, they change you. You don't have to be young to thrive. You just need to be curious and committed and willing to nourish yourself in the small hours when no one's watching. That's where the real change begins. We discuss 2 simple, powerful carbs, sweet potatoes and oats, and how they transform the nights of seniors like Peter and Florence. Not because they were flashy or trendy, but because they were steady, healing, and rooted in the kind of elderly wisdom we often overlook. But we're not done, because there's one question I keep hearing from people over 65. Isn't eating at night bad for me? And I understand where that comes from. You've been told for decades to stop eating after 6, to avoid carbs in the evening, to fear weight gain or blood sugar spikes. But here's the truth. Those rules were built for young, active metabolisms. After 65, the game changes. Your body needs more help staying balanced, especially at night. Your melatonin levels drop. Your serotonin gets sluggish. Your stress hormones stay too high, too late. That's why the right carbs at the right time are not indulgence, they're medicine. And there's one more story that proves it. Meet Harold. He's 81, a retired art professor from Bristol, England. For years, Harold would wake up at 3 a.m. like clockwork. Couldn't go back to sleep. His thoughts would race, his body felt tired, but his mind wouldn't shut off. His daughter, a nutritionist, suggested something unusual. A fruit, a very specific one, and no, it wasn't banana. It was kiwi. That's right, kiwi, that fuzzy little fruit you probably pass by in the store, thinking it's more garnish than substance. But let me tell you why Harold now calls it his sleep fruit. Kiwi is one of the few natural foods shown in studies to improve sleep onset, duration, and efficiency. In a 2011 clinical study published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition, older adults who ate 2 kiwis 1 hour before bed fell asleep faster, stayed asleep longer, and woke up feeling more refreshed. Why? Because kiwi is high in antioxidants like vitamin C, flavonoids, and carotenoids. But more importantly, it supports serotonin production. And serotonin is the key hormone that regulates your internal sleep-wake clock. For Harold, it started with 1 fruit, then 2. He'd eat them slowly, sometimes with herbal tea, sitting in his kitchen with the window open to the night breeze. Within 2 weeks, his 3 a.m. wake-up stopped. Within a month, his memory felt sharper, his morning mood brighter. This is what we mean by elderly reflection. Choosing foods that speak softly but heal deeply. Now let's go even deeper. Because there's one carb most people never think of as a sleep food, and yet it may be one of the most powerful. For seniors over 65, I'm talking about barley. Yes, barley. That old grain you might remember from your grandmother's stew. Barley is a low-glycemic, high-fiber carbohydrate that helps regulate blood sugar throughout the night. But more than that, it contains a special type of fiber called beta-glucan, which supports heart health and improves cholesterol levels. That's crucial because many seniors are told to fear carbs for the sake of their heart, when in fact, some carbs support the heart if chosen wisely. There's also tryptophan. Barley has small amounts of this amino acid that converts into melatonin when combined with complex carbs. giving your body exactly what it needs to enter deep, uninterrupted sleep. And here's where it gets interesting. Barley's effects on the brain are also linked to gut health. In a study from the British Journal of Nutrition, seniors who consumed barley regularly had lower markers of inflammation and better cognitive resilience over time. That means memory, clarity, even emotional regulation, all quietly supported by this humble grain. I remember Maria. She's 76, lives in Portugal, grew up on her grandmother's, but she stopped eating it in her 60s because, like many, she was told to avoid heavy carbs. When she came across one of our videos on senior health and sleep, she emailed me, said she felt like she had permission to go back to her roots. She started making a small portion of warm barley broth in the evening, light, savory, with a little olive oil and herbs. After 2 weeks, her brain fog started to lift. Her blood pressure dropped. And more than anything, she told me, I feel grounded again. That's what this is about. Motivation, not restriction. Inspiration, not fear. The right foods in the right amounts at the right time. Not just helping you longer, but live clearer with dignity. Now, we've talked about sweet potatoes, oats, kiwi, and barley. 4 simple bedtime carbs that can change how you sleep, think, and feel. But I want to add one more, one that bridges food and ritual. It's not a grain, not a fruit. It's a slice of whole grain sourdough bread, served warm with a spread of almond butter or avocado. Now, you might be thinking, bread? At night? Really? But hear me out. Whole grain sourdough contains fermented fiber, which helps your gut produce GABA, a calming neurotransmitter. When paired with a healthy fat like almond butter, you get sustained energy without a blood sugar spike. And when that bread is sourdough, fermented with natural cultures, it's easier to digest and supports your microbiome. A quiet brain begins with a healthy gut. That's not just nutrition, that's a life lesson from the elderly. One we've known for generations, only now rediscovered by science. There's a man in Pennsylvania named George, 83, former jazz musician, always had trouble winding down at night. He started a simple habit. At 9 p.m., he'd make a slice of warm sourdough toast, spread almond butter, and sit on his porch with a journal. Just a few bites, no distractions. He called it his closing note of the day. His sleep improved, his memory came back sharper. His doctor even took him off one of his sleep meds, and that's what this channel is all about. Elderly reflections, stories like George's, like Maria's, like Harold's. Not about radical diets or strict routines, but about quiet, sustainable choices. The kind of nourishment that doesn't just feed your stomach, it tells your brain you're safe, you're cared for. You can rest. Now, maybe you've tried supplements, maybe you've counted sheep, stared at the ceiling, woken up groggy again and again. Maybe you've forgotten where you put the keys, struggled to remember a name mid-conversation, or walked into a room and wondered why. But you are not broken, your brain is not done. It's just tired. And tonight you have the power to change that. So let me ask you, what will you eat tonight? What message will you send to your body before you close your eyes? Will it be chaos or calm? Will it be fear or trust? Start small. Maybe it's 2 kiwis. Maybe it's a scoop of warm oats. Maybe it's that slice of toast with almond butter and peace. But start, and let me know in the comments, what's your favorite evening food? Where are you watching from? I'd love to hear your story. Are you in North America, Europe, somewhere quiet and beautiful in between? If this video has spoken to you, helped you reflect or feel inspired, don't forget to like it. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you never miss another moment of senior health tips, motivation, and elderly wisdom that could change your life one evening at a time. Because here, we don't chase youth. We embrace the power of experience. We listen, we nourish, and we rise together. Next, we'll bring all of this together and show how everything connects. I'll walk you through how to build the perfect bedtime plate, how to avoid the most common evening mistakes that sabotage sleep and memory, and how one small change can help you reclaim not just your nights, but your mornings too. Stay with us, we're just getting started. There's something sacred about the hours after sunset. For most of our lives, we rush through them, homework, dinner, television, falling into bed half aware. But after 65, the evening becomes something else entirely. A kind of mirror, a time to reflect, not just on the day you've had, but on the life you've built. And maybe, more importantly, on the life you still want to protect, your memory, your heart, your energy. All of it starts here, in the quiet of your kitchen, when no one's watching and you ask yourself, what do I give my body before I rest? In the previous sections, we discussed specific carbs, Sweet potatoes, oats, kiwi, barley, and even a humble slice of sourdough. But now let's bring it all together. Because motivation is great, but ritual is what keeps you healthy. Tonight, I want to help you build your own night plate. Not a meal, not a feast. Just a small collection of foods that tells your body it's time to restore. I'm with you. Picture this. You set aside 15 minutes. Dim the lights, put away the phone. Pour a glass of warm tea. On your plate, a few slices of kiwi, half a baked sweet potato, a small bowl of oats, maybe topped with crushed walnuts or chia seeds. Or maybe it's one slice of sourdough with almond butter and a handful of blueberries on the side. Nothing fancy, but increasingly powerful. There's a reason this matters so much. Your brain runs on fuel, and at night it's busy sorting memories, clearing waste proteins, regulating emotions. But it needs nutrients to do all that. Seniors who eat balanced, complex carbs before bed tend to fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and experience fewer overnight spikes in cortisol or blood sugar. A study from the University of Sydney found that adults over 60 who ate low glycemic carbs in the evening had better sleep quality and improved next-day memory retention. And another study from UCLA linked evening antioxidant risk, fruits, to a reduced risk of cognitive decline. So these aren't just snacks, they're instructions. And every night, your body listens. Let me tell you about someone who built this habit from scratch. Her name is Lillian. She's 86, lives alone in Vermont, and she emailed our channel last fall. She said she stumbled across one of our videos late one night after another restless sleep. She didn't want another appointment. She just wanted to feel like herself again. That night, she made a small bowl of oats with cinnamon and almond milk. The next night, she added a kiwi. By the end of the week, she created her own ritual. A tray, a journal, soft music, and a promise to her body, I'm not giving up on you. 3 months later, she told us, I'm sleeping through the night again. I remember my dreams. And I feel like I came back to myself. This is what elderly reflections are about. Not just looking back on life, but looking forward with clarity. Because the truth is, the most common health mistake seniors make isn't eating too much. It's eating too little, or eating the wrong things at the wrong time, especially before bed. If you're reaching for cookies, crackers, or sugary snacks late at night, you're sending the wrong message to your body, spiking insulin, disrupting your sleep, worsening inflammation. And if you're skipping food altogether, you're robbing your brain of the fuel it needs to file memories, regulate hormones, and rebuild tissue. But when you choose complex carbs paired with healthy fats, fiber, and a little protein, you're supporting every system that keeps you alive, mobile, and mentally sharp. That's not a diet. That's senior health at its most foundational. Now let's talk about what to avoid. Because just as the right foods heal, the wrong ones quietly harm. Most common, refined sugar, pastries, white bread, even some granolas marketed as healthy. These spike your glucose, which trigger cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones that interfere with REM sleep. The second is alcohol. Many seniors think a glass of wine will help them sleep, but while it might help you fall asleep faster, it actually reduces sleep depth, suppresses REM cycles, and increases overnight heart rate. Over time, it contributes to cognitive decline, especially when consumed close to bedtime. And finally, excessive fluids. We often forget how disruptive it is to wake up 2 or 3 times in the night for the bathroom. If you're hydrating, do it earlier. After 8 p.m., slip slowly and keep liquids to a minimum. And now here's where the magic really happens. Ritual. It's not enough to just eat the right foods. How you eat them matters too. Create a nighttime environment that signals safety and peace. Turn off overhead lights. Use a lamp, maybe light a candle. Sit at a table or in a chair by the window. Breathe slowly. Chew slowly, don't scroll. Don't rush. Treat your bedtime carbs like a gift to yourself. And maybe keep a notebook nearby. Write one line each night. What you're grateful for. What you want to remember. These small moments stack up. They become your rhythm, your foundation. And over time, they become your peace. There's an elderly couple I met in Milan. Enzo and Sofia, both in their 80s. They don't take sleep pills. They don't use screens at night. But every evening they sit side by side with a bowl of warm barley soup and a slice of rye toast. They talk. They laugh. They nourish each other. I asked Enzo once what his secret was. He said, "We eat like we still want tomorrow to be beautiful." That's it. That's the quote that stayed with me. Eat like you still want tomorrow to be beautiful. That's what these rituals are. That's the wisdom I hope you carry with you from this series. Because here's the truth. After 65, you don't have time to waste on habits that hurt you. Your brain, your heart, you just need intention and the courage to care for yourself in small, quiet ways. Because every night you nourish your body before sleep, you're telling yourself, I still matter. And that message, that changes everything. So as we close this series, I want to ask you, what will your night tray look like? Will you add a few blueberries, a small bowl of oats, a slice of warm sourdough? Let me know in the comments, what's your bedtime routine and where are you watching from today? I want to hear your voice. Whether you're in Canada, the UK, Germany, California, or somewhere quietly beautiful in between, your story matters, and this community is built on stories like yours. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell so you never miss another story of elderly inspiration, motivation, or wisdom. Because here on Elderly Reflections, we believe your best days aren't behind you. They're waiting for you each day, each morning, one gentle, nourishing step at a time. Here's to your rest, here's to your mind, here's to your heart, and here's to the small choices that keep you young. No matter your age,